Hi, and welcome to the Survival Guide. Today's topic we're going to be touching upon is attachment styles and parenting styles. What is an attachment style? It is an emotional bond between the child and the caregiver that aids in the child's long-term outcomes. There are 4 types of attachments. 1 is secure attachment, 2, anxious avoidant, 3, anxious resistant, and 4, disorganized and disoriented attachment. The first type of attachment style, secure attachment, the child, when in the presence of a caregiver, explores freely. However, if the caregiver leaves and they come back, the child is easily soothed by the caregiver. The reason for a secure attachment is possibly due to the caregiver's responsiveness to the child's needs. The second type of attachment style, anxious avoidant, a child, when placed with a caregiver, explores with or without the caregiver in a specific environment. However, when the caregiver leaves, the child does not seek the caregiver when they are reunited. A cause of this type of attachment is possibly due to an emotionally unavailable mother or any type of caregiver. The third type of attachment style, anxious resistant. When the child is in the same room as the mother or primary caregiver, they tend to stay close to their primary caregiver. And they're usually hesitant to explore the area. When the mother or primary caregiver leaves and they come back, the child will seek the caregiver but also reject the caregiver at the same time. A reason this could be is that the primary caregiver was attentive. However, it was not what the child needed. And the last type of attachment style is disorganized and disoriented attachment style. When the child is in the care of the primary caregiver in a certain environment, the child will freeze during exploration, so they do not easily explore and they are not hesitant, but they rather freeze. When the caregiver comes back from somewhere, the child may go to the caregiver, but however, when they do go to the caregiver, they usually look away from the caregiver and they usually have a dazed expression. Reasons for this type of attachment style is possibly due to maltreatment, emotionally unavailable caregiver, emotionally confusing, frightening, or intrusive caregiver. So now we're going to go on to different types of parenting styles and their relative outcomes. So the first type of parenting style that we're going to consider is the authoritarian parenting style. This type of parenting style has warmth in the relationship. They provide the child with warmth and security. Whenever the child is in need, the authoritarian parent is responsive. However, they also set very high standards for their children. They also demand strict obedience. And lastly, the responsiveness to the child's viewpoint is very low. In this case, they do not care about what the child believes or thinks. Even if the child is right, the authoritarian parent always has the rule of thumb over the child. The next type of parenting style is authoritative parenting style. Now, this differs from the authoritarian in several ways. First of all, there is high warmth in the authoritative parenting style, while the authoritarian was low warmth. The authoritative parenting style is also very responsive to the child's needs. They do set high standards, however, they also are more relaxed when it comes to rules. They do provide consistent discipline, and also they provide limits and boundaries that the child cannot do. And the last thing about the authoritative parent is that they have a high responsiveness to the child's viewpoint. So they will actually consider what the child has to say, and not just because the parent says, whatever the parent says is what goes. But in this case, the child also has a say, even if it's right or wrong. The third type of parenting style is permissive. They have high warmth in the relationship. They are also highly responsive when it comes to the child's needs. However, they do not have standards, so they do not give the child any rules or any boundaries. So when it comes to obedience, permissive parents have low obedience. They are kind of the cool mom or cool dad, as they do not have very many rules, and they would rather have the child be more independent. And lastly, yes, they are responsive to the child's viewpoint. And the last type of parenting style we're going to be talking about today is the uninvolved parenting. This is basically at the opposite end of the spectrum compared to authoritarian. These type of parents have little warmth to offer to their children. They also they do not have any responsiveness to the child's needs. They do not provide any standards, any boundaries. They do not even have any strict obedience or anything. And they're very uninvolved in listening to their child's viewpoint. So when it means uninvolved parenting, it is literally that. They are uninvolved with the child in every single way. So we went over today different types of attachment styles and parenting styles. We went over the 4 types of attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, anxious resistant, disorganized, and disoriented. And the last thing we went over was parenting styles, the 4 types: authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and uninvolved. I hope this helped you, and please subscribe and like. Bye.